the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. It's the Cincinnati Reds versus the Houston Astros. Today's game is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Toyota and your local Toyota dealer. There's quality, then there's Toyota quality. By Long John Silver's, where we want to see you happy. By Community Mutual Blue Cross and Blue Shield, because just any blue won't do. Welcome to the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. It's been raining outside, but we're ready for baseball. Temperature 72 degrees. A pleasant Sunday, everybody. Jay Randolph along with Johnny Bench. The Reds came in here, lost on Thursday night. Now have come back with two very impressive wins. It's been a good road trip. It can get a lot better with a victory today.
Well, to come down to the Dome and win 3 out of 4 and to go out to San Francisco the way they did. They played sloppy baseball when they first got in here on Thursday night, but two good scoring breaks and rallies coming in late innings, and we got good relief staff. You know, Jose Rijo came in again, and we got Franco, we got Murphy. That's what we've talked about all spring training, is the fact that we do have outstanding relief pitching, and today we've got an outstanding starter going for us. We can't take anything away from Mario Soto's performance. Another gem yesterday, but Danny Jackson right now is on a roll.
And Nolan Ryan gets the call for the Astros. Back with the starting lineups right after this.
In the minors, you must have called it all 1,000 times. Then one day, you got the call. What's this, rookie umpire? Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Compliment for that gentleman.
This buzz for you.
The producer-director for Cincinnati Reds baseball is Roy Alfers. Our associate producer, Jesse Jackson. Network coordinator, Dick Mort. Cincinnati Reds baseball is a special presentation of Multimedia Sports. And as you look at this crowd on a Sunday afternoon in the Dome, Cincinnati a game back of L.A., a half a game back of Houston in the National League West. Here's Johnny with the starting lineups.
Leading off for the Cincinnati Reds will be Barry Larkin playing shortstop. Jeff Treadway bats second, plays second base. Cal Daniels is in left field, batting third. Eric Davis bats fourth in center field. Paul O'Neill plays right field today and bats fifth. Bo Diaz is behind the plate, batting sixth. Nick Osaski plays first base and bats seventh. Chris Sabo does the work at third base, batting eighth, and Danny Jackson is the pitcher. Defensively for the Houston Astros, it's Billy Hatcher, Gerald Young, and Kevin Bass in the outfield. Chuck Jackson, Rafael Ramirez, Billy Doran, and Glenn Davis round the infield. Mark Bailey does the work behind the plate, and Nolan Ryan is the pitcher. Nolan Ryan indeed is the starting pitcher, 1-0 with a 3-2-1. Pitched against the Reds in Cincinnati, was not involved in the decision. He pitched 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, struck out 11. 175th time he struck out 10 or more in a ball game.
And the native Texan is ready to come into Barry Larkin. The first pitch of the game, inside for a ball. The crew chief, John Kibler, is behind the plate this afternoon with Jim Quick at first, Eric Gregg at second, and Dave Pallone at third. Larkin leading the National League with 18 hits and a high fly ball into left. Back goes Hatcher, and it's gone. Larkin opens the game with a round tripper.
But that fastball in, he's shown a quick bat in the last few games. 3 hits, 2 hits, and now opening this game with a big one. Reds had problems scoring and getting the leadoff hitter on bat on the base. This time he took care of himself. Barry Larkin, this Bud's for you. Low fives all around. Take a look at the quickness right now of Barry Larkin. That ball, and that's right on the inside part of the plate. That's just real good quickness to get around on the Nolan Ryan fastball.
Here is Treadway, and a long run by Hatcher, but he makes the play. Treadway now 0 for 9 in this series. Hatcher looking up. They have had a little trouble with the lights the way he's looking up there, as Larkin has really been on a tear.
Well, still the day game, and Jay, you know, these panels that we talked about the other night, now with the fact that it's raining outside makes it a little grayer and not quite as bright, but there always is some hesitation on some outfielders' part to look up towards those panels and have it come in between those squares, those rectangles that you see on the screen.
Johnny, you remember in the beginning down here, a lot of balls were lost up there.
Oh, a catcher never had a chance in the outfield. It was just a, you know, a circus.
Cal Daniels takes a strike on the outside corner. Daniels leading the National League with a .500 on base percentage. He ranks second in hitting. 3 for 11 in the series for Cal. Ryan touched for the home run as Larkin leads it off here, and the Reds are on the board first. St. Louis playing at New York. Cardinals leading 1-0 and batting in the 4th inning at Shea Stadium. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Philadelphia and Montreal are playing at Olympic Stadium, and it is Montreal leading that one 2-1 3rd inning. Daniels versus the Astros this season. Looking good. Strikeout. First strikeout of the game for Nolan Ryan.
Threw him a real good changeup that he was out in front of, and now he just throws that fastball right at the belt and right by Cal Daniels. Cal came into Houston really swinging the bat well. It's slowed down some. Sometimes facing this pitching will do that.
Eric Davis batting .238. He's come out of his slump. He's 5 for 13 in this series. Davis tied for the National League lead in walks at 10. Popped up. Davis ranging back and makes the play. The home run by Barry Larkin after a half inning. The Reds lead it here 1-0.
For the Houston Astros, leading off today will be Gerald Young playing center field. Billy Hatcher bats second in left field. Billy Doran plays second base and bats third. Glenn Davis is the first baseman, batting fourth. Kevin Bass plays right field, bats fifth. Rafael Ramirez bats sixth and plays shortstop. Mark Bailey does the work behind the plate today, batting seventh. Chuck Jackson is the third baseman, batting eighth, and Nolan Ryan is the pitcher. Defensively for the Cincinnati Reds, it's Cal Daniels, Eric Davis, and Paul O'Neill in the outfield. Chris Sabo, Barry Larkin, Jeff Treadway, and Nick Osaski around the infield. Bo Diaz behind the plate, and Danny Jackson on the mound. Danny Jackson, the left-hander with a 2-0 record, 2.12 ERA, pitched 8 innings in San Francisco, gave up 6 hits. And the good thing is he only walked 1 in his first start of the season. He walked 7 against the Cardinals, won that ball game 8-1.
And Gerald Young will step in to lead it off, batting at .244. First pitch a little high. Young in spring training hit safely in 13 of 17 games that he played in over a stretch. He is 4 for 13 in this series, 2 balls and no strikes. Danny Jackson with a 2-0 record, gave up 13 first inning runs in 34 starts last year. Ryan 10 first inning runs in 34 starts last season. Jackson, born in San Antonio, grew up out in Aurora, Colorado, and Young starts it off with a single into left.
Fastball up. He got the first 2 pitches upstairs, then had to come in trying to find that location. He doesn't want to walk anyone, but that ball right upstairs just in Gerald Young's territory. And we saw the other night that the Houston Astros will run the bases. They use their speed. Jackson with a good move, and of course Bo very effective at throwing out runners.
Thursday night, Reds got into an early jam when Young got an infield single and Hatcher a bunt single. Now here's a shot into center field. Davis is on the run, makes the play. Eric got to it quickly. He had to. This copyrighted telecast comes to you courtesy Multimedia Broadcasting under TV rights granted for the Reds solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Reds is prohibited, and the announcers for this telecast are employed by Multimedia Broadcasting with the approval of the Cincinnati Reds.
2 balls, 2 batters. Both balls hit extremely hard. Got to get the ball down in the strike zone. Mario yesterday using that changeup, but his velocity was up.
Bill Doran's batting .341, and he hits it high on the infield. Fritz Sabo in fair territory. 2 gone. And that'll bring Glenn Davis to the plate. This fella has him turned on down here. 4 for 12 in the series. Top RBI man right now in the National League. 5 homers, 15 RBIs. Tied his career high with 5 RBIs here the other night. This Astro team batting .268 as a unit coming into this game. Throw over to first, and as usual, the folks here, many of them yelling balk. Astros with a 7-3 record. Reds trying to take 3 out of 4 here after winning 2 of 3 in San Francisco. Club heading home tonight, and a 4-game series with the Giants coming up. There's the way they play Davis with Treadway to the third base side. The shift for Davis. Outside. Pittsburgh is at Chicago, Atlanta at LA, and San Francisco at San Diego later. Texas and Boston are playing. Texas is doing a lot of running and watching, apparently. Boston leading 12-0, 4th inning. 2 balls and no strikes to Glenn Davis. Runner goes. And the throw is not in time. Diaz got it down there in pretty good fashion, but Gerald Young got a nice jump, too.
Well, you got to give a lot of credit to Gerald Young there. His speed was just really good there. There's the high fastball, a good place to throw from. Ball a little upstairs, but you can't argue with the fact that he got it down there as quick as he did. And Eric Gregg right on top of that.
The 5th stolen base of the season for Young. And a count of 3-0 on Glenn Davis. Fouled back, and it's going to be in the seats. Hit one of the stanchion wires that holds up that mesh behind home plate. Young trotting back to second. Reds have a 1-0 lead. A homer. Barry Larkin leading it off.
It was a home run last night that beat the Giants. John Crook pinch hitting, and leading off the 9th inning, hit the second pitch from Don Robinson to beat the Giants 2-1. If you didn't catch that score, and of course everybody knows about the problems that the Atlanta Braves are having.
Here's the 3-1 offering. It's low, and the walk. The first given up by Danny Jackson.
Not a bad philosophy, a base open, pitching very carefully to the hottest hitter in the league. He's tied for the home run lead and leads in RBIs. So although Kevin Bass, a very capable hitter, it's sometimes better to avoid that hot hitter. Let your defense go to work. Maybe hope that Davis chases the pitches. Now he has to go to work on Bass.
Davis hit a 3-run shot in the first inning in Thursday night's game. Reds lost that one 9-3, but have come back to take the next 2. That pitch is inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
I'm sure the book is out on Danny Jackson with the advanced scouting that they have around the league. I'm sure that Houston had their people and their scouts in San Francisco watching Danny Jackson, how he pitched the Giants. They know about that hard slider, and the one thing you tell your hitters, you're going to have to lay off that slider down and in and not be chasing it. And so far, good discipline from Bass.
Fastball, it's foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Danny Jackson didn't get much support at Kansas City from his mates last year. He allowed only 1 home run per 20.4 innings. And that was the toughest in the majors. So it's not often that they take this fella deep.
No, 11 complete games for Danny, and in 5 of the games that he lost, their team was shut out. It's hard to pick up a lot of wins that way.
You're not kidding.
That sound like the old Mets and Seaver.
The 1-1 pitch is in low. Bass, the switch hitter, 2 for 8 in this series. He had a pinch hit grand slam home run in Cincinnati earlier. Two on and 2 out. Inside ball 3. Rafael Ramirez is on deck. Good fastball is fouled away and the count is full.
Runners on the move at that particular time. Gerald Young and Glenn Davis making the breaks with a 3-1 count. They know that Bass has a good idea of the strike zone, that he'll take ball 4, and if he puts the ball in play, that if he gets any of the infielders moving out of position, a chance for the obvious run to score. But at the same time, not a bad move. Gives that hitter at the plate a little better chance at finding an open hole.
Here's the payoff pitch with the runners going, and it's a long one into the gap, way back. It is off the wall, and Houston will take a 2-1 lead as Young and Davis come in on the double by Bass, and he picks up RBIs number 10 and 11.
Can't keep pitching from behind. That's what he's done up to this point. That ball right down the middle of the plate. Bass right on it. A long run for Eric Davis. Just about gets to it, but you can see it hitting on the warning track. And if it had bounced a little bit short of that, it would have gone in the stands. At least it would have held Davis at third base with a ground rule double, but the break for the Astros.
And Rafael Ramirez standing in. A strike on the inside corner. This is a very formidable lineup, Johnny. We've talked about it, especially in the middle of this Astro lineup right now, with Doran batting .341, Hatcher's .317, Davis .313, Bass .350. On the ground, Larkin throws out Ramirez, but it's 2 runs on 2 hits. And after 1, the Astros have the lead. Along with Johnny Bench, Jay Randolph here in the Astrodome. They've got a sellout here today. Look at this crowd. Wonderful to see the fans here in the Houston area turned on by these Astros. Paul O'Neill standing in against Nolan Ryan. And Ryan throws high for a ball. Ryan, 262 wins in his career. Originally selected by the Mets back in June of '65. Swing and a miss. Went to the Angels in '71. He gained free agency in November of '79. Shortly after that, he signed here. A native of Texas. He's born in Refugio and lives in Alvin, Texas, a suburb of Houston. A gentleman who's a great credit to the game. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Paul O'Neill. O'Neill 3 for 8 in the series. A double and 2 RBIs in the 10th on Friday. Key to that victory. Foul back. They're underway at Wrigley Field, and Pittsburgh gets 2 in the first. Chicago's Cubs now batting in the bottom of the first inning. Detroit leads Kansas City 3-1 in the fourth inning. Strikeout number 2 for Ryan. Cleveland has a 3-1 advantage over Baltimore in the fourth inning. Toronto's leading Minnesota 1-0 there in the fifth. New York at Milwaukee, Chicago at Oakland later on. Here it is 2-1. Reds got a home run from Larkin in the first. Bo Diaz homered in the game here yesterday, his third of the season. Astros came back getting 2 runs on 2 hits. The key, the double by Bass. And that's where we are in the early going. 1 ball and no strikes to Bo Diaz. 7-game hitting streak going. It backed him off, ball 2. Diaz from Venezuela. 3 balls and no strikes. Diaz, of course, coming over from the Phillies in the Foley Nicely Tolliver deal in '85. That caught the outside corner. 3-1. Foul back, full count. Mark Bailey doing the catching today as Alan Ashby gets a rest. There's a good look at the big guy. And a single into center. Diaz hung in there, and the 1-out single.
Pitching from behind, both pitchers today, and you see the problems that happens is you have to come in with that fastball unless you really have faith in that breaking ball. And of course Nolan's got the good one, but it's not nearly like he can trust that fastball and blow people away with it.
Nick Osaski's batting only .161. He's 2 for 10 in the series. That's a strike at the knees. John Kibler behind the plate, veteran umpire, crew chief. Bo Diaz at first. Saski trying to do some damage, but came up empty, and Ryan is out in front 0-2. Nolan Ryan, future Hall of Famer, along with the gentleman that I'm working with this afternoon. And into the hole in right. Diaz had to hold up just a minute to see if it was going to get by Doran. So they're 2 on with 1 out. And a chance for Sabo to do some damage. Chris has hit safely in all 7 games that he has started. He is 4 for 12 in this series. Got his average up to .290. Playing a very fine third base and looking good as he stands in for Buddy Bell. Buddy, if you're listening this afternoon, glad to know that you're getting some rest over this weekend. You'll begin rehabilitation and have some activity beginning tomorrow, we're told. I hope things will heal up quickly for you. Strike 1 to Sabo.
Yeah, Buddy, I know it's a great disappointment for him. If anything, he may have tried to come back a little too soon. And of course, he's the type of guy that wants to come back and play every day. He wants to be a part of this. And we'll certainly need him down the stretch and starting whenever he gets back. I hope he's back fully 100%.
And strike 2. Seventh meeting between these two teams on the young season. 3-3 the records. Reds are 2-1 here. The Astros 1-2 and lost 1 in Cincinnati last weekend. Outside, gets away, and the runners advance. And it's called a wild pitch.
There's that curveball. It just keeps breaking. And you're trying to get your glove out there, but when you extend this way, you really limit your range. And I backhanded a lot of those balls. I said you should shift over, and that's the one thing he didn't do, was shift to get down completely on that ball to block it, keep his body in front of it, and then shove it out. Have that glove sort of facing the pitchers, not where it's turned away, the way he tried to do with both hands. That's why the one-handed catching became such an improved way of doing it.
Sabo with a fly ball, and it's going to be the center fielder, Young. Diaz tags. We're tied at 2. Sacrifice fly, and that is the first run batted in, Johnny, for Chris Sabo in the major leagues.
Why not? Off of Nolan Ryan. I think that's one he'll remember, whether it be any sort. It was a good at bat for Chris Sabo. You saw the frustration when he swung through the fastball and missed it, but he stayed right in there. He's got such a good short compact back swing that he is able to stay back and wait. Ryan, not wanting that curveball to get away from Bailey again, come back, challenge him with a fastball, and it's a tie ball game.
Danny Jackson. Saski out there at second. Jackson fouls it back.
Danny 1 for 6 with a couple of RBIs, but in San Francisco, he got his baptism officially into the National League as he struck out all 3 times.
Tough for those fellows that have been toiling over in the American League.
Well, it's an easy task today to face Nolan Ryan.
Yeah. 1 ball and 1 strike.
A couple of back-to-back home runs in New York. Pendleton and Jim Lindemann hitting back-to-back home runs, and that's why the Cardinals lead 2-0 as De Leon has a shutout going.
And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, you remember Pendleton hit that big home run that really vaulted the Cardinals
straightaway center field
into
off of
the National
Roger
League.
McDowell, I believe.
Yes, sir. Boy, was it something. Jackson trying to hang in here against Ryan, fouls it away. 2 runs on 3 hits and no errors for the Reds. 2-2-0 for the Astros. And the strikeout is the 3rd for Ryan. The Reds have tied it up after an inning and a half. It's 2-2.
Under the dome in the bottom of the second, a 2-2 ball game. Fans, the new Reds gift shop at the Hyatt Regency Cincinnati is stocked with great new gift items and souvenirs. Come into the new expanded location, and you will be sure to find the right idea for that gift to your favorite Reds fans. You can also buy tickets to all upcoming Reds games while you're shopping. Come and see the new Reds gift shop located in the lobby of the Hyatt Regency Hotel at 5th and Elm Streets downtown.
Hope the folks have got their tickets for the big series coming up with the Giants.
Yes, indeed. The Giants are doing a lot of talking, and of course the Reds winning 2 of 3 out there. But we saw the Giants come back in Cincinnati, and well, Pete believes that you can win a lot of ball games in April. You can win your pennant right here, and why not? Let's see the fact that over the years, although last year Milwaukee Brewers won 13 in a row and then fell on hard times, but if you win the ball games here, you sort of set up, make it a lot easier come August.
Here's Mark Bailey as we move into the bottom of the second inning. Bailey 0 for 3 this year. And he has his first hit. Bailey from Springfield, Missouri. Started with the Astros last season, but then was sent to Tucson, and he opens it up with a single. Well, the hits are even at 3 apiece. It's a 2-2 game. And Chuck Jackson, batting 188, stands in. Jackson, the third baseman, down the line in right. Off the wall. O'Neill coming on. And there are runners at second and third with no out after Jackson's double down the line in right.
Not fooling anybody right now. Hard hit balls all around. Gerald Young with a hard hit ball. Billy Hatcher with a hard hit ball. Kevin Bass with a double. Bailey hits the first pitch. Chuck Jackson goes the other way. Runners at second and third, nobody out for Nolan. And Nolan can swing the bat a little bit, can help himself, but then you get to the top of the lineup. Well, a little different than what we've seen in the previous couple of games on Friday and Saturday anyway, when nothing really happening for the Reds offense. Now both teams with good offense early.
Nolan Ryan is 1 out of 5 this year. And a liner off the glove of Larkin. Here comes Bailey. Here comes Jackson. 4-2 Astros.
That'll get somebody up in the bullpen, I would think, and it just turned out it was inches away from a double play. Because Jackson was definitely too far off of second base, and Barry Larkin may have got blocked out a little bit by Chuck Jackson. See the hard line drive, and that was really hard line drive because Barry looked like he got a part of the glove on it. Couldn't see it from that angle. But that may get somebody up in the bullpen. Nobody stirring down there yet.
Johnny, I agree with you. I think he was blocked a little bit, and it was tough for him to pick that ball up. Back to the top of the order, Young. And time was called. No ball. Ryan trots down to second base, and it's a rather frustrated Danny Jackson out there on the hill right now.
Well, he's been treated pretty roughly. The one thing a pitcher does when he doesn't worry about a base runner, say at third base or a pitcher running at first base, is he really doesn't concentrate on stopping. He's already given up 3 hard hit balls in the inning, one to the pitcher to drive in a couple of runs. He's a bit upset. He's got to take the time right now as he's discussing this with Bo and Scotty. Got to get himself together and remember what he's doing. The umpires are looking at it with a microscope. And John Kipler reaches the mound. And just as the meeting breaks up, Scotty Breeden, the pitching coach for the Cincinnati Reds, trying to get Jackson's mechanics straight. He's not seen Jackson hit this hard in this early season. And sometimes you can see things from over there and relate that to the pitcher, but 5 hard hit balls for base hits and a couple of other ones. And right now, a 4-2 deficit. You can't let him get a lot more with Nolan Ryan.
Looked like Young had an idea to bunt. He takes it, and it's strike 1.
When you get your hitting shoes on, not a good time to be laying one down. Sabo in front of the bag at third base. No real advantage there.
Curveball is high. Young originally came up with the Mets. He is from Honduras. And he's their leadoff man down here. Al Lanier has given him the job. Third baseman, the first baseman pulled in a little bit. There's a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Houston with a record of 7-3 coming into this action this afternoon. The Reds 7-4. Foul back. St. Louis batting now in the 6th inning at Shea Stadium, leading the Mets 2-0. Montreal 2-1 over Philadelphia. Phillies batting in the 5th at Olympic Stadium. Billy Hatcher's on deck. Pittsburgh leading Chicago 2-1. Cubs batting 2nd inning. Fouled away. We start play today. Los Angeles 8-3, half a game ahead of Houston, game ahead of Cincinnati. 2 games up on San Francisco. The Giants with a record of 6-5. Pittsburgh and New York tied at 7-3 in the National League East. And it hit him. Well, nothing's going right for Danny Jackson.
Now some stirring down in the Reds dugout as Frank Williams goes out of the dugout to warm up very quickly, and Danny really fighting his control. He walked 7 the first game that he pitched in Cincinnati, walked only 1 in San Francisco. A lot of innings pitched, 17 for a young season and 2 times out. And Pete said that He only lost a mile or two off his fastball. He was still throwing 90+ in San Francisco, but being here in the Dome is really a change of venue has really been a problem for Danny.
Billy Hatcher flied to center in the first, and he's bunting, and he lays it down perfectly. The sacrifice is good. The play going 5-4. Here's Yogi Berra on the right of your screen, and the man right in the middle, Hal Lanier. Ryan is at third. Young is at second. 1 out. 2 runs home. Bill Doran, the Cincinnatian. He popped out in the first. Down to Sabo. Balk. Jackson balked on the pitch. 5-2 Astros.
There's the runner at third base. Nobody really to hold on. Let's take a look and see what we can see. Boy, that's close. They're just wanting a full second stop. And instead of 2 outs and men on second and third and a chance if we wanted to pitch around Davis. Pete hollering at Eric Gregg out in center field for making the call.
And Pete indicating there must be something wrong with Eric's eyesight.
Scotty Breeden talking to Dave Pallone. Some people can make a complete joke out of it if they want to. League directive said they had to call it.
They're just following orders, I guess. But boy, it's.
I wish they called balls and strikes that way. Oh. That's not a, not a put down to everybody. John Kibler is one of the best.
Yeah, Kibler is. Bill Doran, a strike. Sabo makes a fine play. Boy, he's done a good job. He really battles down there.
Well, some good plays opening day from Chris to his right, now diving left. This is the key part, getting up under control and being able to make that exchange from the glove to the hand. Finding the composure to make that good throw. Doran hit it sharply, playing fairly shallow in the infield, so he had time.
Glenn Davis walked and scored in the first. And a shot to center field. And Davis. And he makes the catch against the wall. But 3 runs on 3 hits. A hit batsman, a couple of balks. And we have played 2, and the Astros have a 5-2 lead.
It's the most significant discovery of Egyptian treasure since the opening of King Tut's tomb. See it on live TV.
Wednesday night at 8 on WLWT-TV.
Eric Davis, Golden Glover himself. Many reasons why. We saw Jack Clark being robbed of 2 home runs last year. We saw him crashing, diving all year long. And this time the extension, and of course that rubberized surface around the turf now. Sometimes when you bounce, you catch those cleats coming back and get you off balance to begin with. But Davis crushed that one as well. Glenn, that is.
They're going to have some blue padding put on that wall out there in the next few weeks. It's been ordered. It's just not here yet. And it'll be a little easier for the outfielders. Well, here's Larkin. 5-2 Astros moving into the 3rd inning. Larkin, who homered to start the game, takes a strike on the outside corner. During the time we were away for the break, manager Rose and pitching coach Scott Breeden were really on the case of the umpires regarding the balk calls. Down the line in left. Larkin will go for 2. And Larkin is 2 for 2, and he's there. Another extra base hit for Larkin.
You get that ball in the middle part of the plate. And with that quick bat right now, Barry Larkin, he's going to do some damage to you. Good quick wrist there again, almost identical to the fastball that he hit for the home run. And when Ryan let go of the ball and Larkin hit it, he was just upset with himself. You could see Nolan out there on the mound kicking the dirt. Not very pleased with the effort and the location.
And now Eric Gregg has walked all the way in to yell something back at Pete Rose and Scott Breeden. You see him moving back out now. This Reds bench is some kind of hot. I think Pete's been thrown out of the game.
Scotty Breeden.
No,
Danny Jackson.
Danny Jackson is coming out, and he's going to have a discussion.
Get out there with him.
Yeah, somebody get out there with him is right. Bruce Kim. One of the things I was able to pick up, they were talking to Kibler, Johnny, about let's call this balk rule consistent. And they felt it wasn't consistent. And now the discussion will ensue between Mr. Rose and Mr. Gregg.
Yes, Scotty Breeden was saying, we're being consistent, you be consistent. And they've got 4 different types of umpires that are looking at it under a different scrutiny. And, you know.
John, let's run that balk, the one that they're really arguing about after Pete gets through here. We're going to run it at normal speed. I think you get a better perspective.
When you slow-mo it does look like he stops a little bit longer, but now Pete is saying, how can you hurry him all the way over there? I mean, it's not. Why is it wrong to throw your hands up in the air and do some things? I mean, if your head is in that dugout all the time, you can find things. Let's take a look at that. Now, this is at full speed. We showed it at the slow-mo.
Normal speed.
Well, that is a borderline. As far as what they're saying the balk is, it is a borderline. Can we look at that one more time while Pete's coming back? So for it has to be a full pause. One more time, real quick. And you got to come back to a complete pause right there.
Well, and you get down to semantics, John. What's a pause? You know? I mean, you could say he paused, but did he pause? They're talking about that full second, of course. The pitch is a ball to Treadway.
So we'll have a new pitcher, and it looks like it will be Frank Williams. He's down in the bullpen. Day done for Danny Jackson.
Well, we figured when we announced this pitching pairing a few days ago, Ryan and Jackson, that we might have a real pitcher's duel. Neither pitcher has really done much to fool anybody up to now. And this is down into the corner. It'll send Larkin home as Treadway has a big double and an RBI, and it is 5-3.
I was in the clubhouse this morning, and Jeff said, my wife said something about, you said something about my hitting and saw what I was doing wrong. What was it? And I said, you're not staying back. You've got to stay back. You're the type of hitter that George Brett is. And you've got to stay back over the left side of that leg and keep that balance back there. You can't go forward and lose that balance. Then you have to hit with your arms. Right there, he stayed back, and he had a good pitch down and in, and he's the type of hitter that will do that.
Hits are even at 5 apiece. Astros lead at 5-3. And Nolan Ryan set to come into Cal Daniels, who struck out in the first inning. Strike on the outside corner. Well, we've had a little bit of everything in the early going here in the Astrodome. Always interesting games in this indoor park. Fouled away. Jim Cott was chatting with me yesterday on the NBC Game of the Week here, Johnny, about the fact that they never called balks on Necro. He balked all the time.
Every time.
You know.
It wasn't a time. And right now, of course, that may have been the reason he fully retired. He knew he didn't have a chance. Of course, with a knuckleball pitcher, the one thing you can't allow is a base runner to have any kind of jump, because the catcher has enough problem catching the ball. And by even trying to find it after that, out of that big mid, it makes it almost impossible. But he had one of the best moves, and partly because of the balk.
Fouled away. Treadway's out there at second. 0-2 the count. A run home, no outs. On deck, Eric Davis.
You know, that's a long way to throw a guy out from second base all the way in the dugout. I just still befuddles me how they can read that good of lips over there, or what they're saying, enough to say that. I mean, you really have to abuse an umpire. Nobody could, from this vantage point, could see Danny Jackson. There's a pretty good distance right there.
You can even tell that the guy is throwing kisses from there.
Yes, instead of eating sunflower seeds.
Well, this has been a very interesting time here for this crew, hasn't it?
It's going to be as long as you keep calling as many balks as they are. Milwaukee and New York the other day, what they called 11 or something. They called 4 on Bobby Witt down in Texas.
That's high. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, you would think that a pitcher, after he's been called twice, would almost stop for 27 seconds just so there wouldn't be a problem. Then you can move your knee. Then you can start something. They called one on Rick Rhoden yesterday for moving his knee before he started, which deceives the runner. Another part of the balk rule.
And now Daniels steps out. And Bailey wants to talk things over. They want to discuss the signs of the runner at second base. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, Ashby is normally the catcher for Nolan Ryan. You saw Tim McCarver for many years, the catcher for Steve Carlton. And a lot of times a pitcher really wants to work to one catcher, because in a pitcher like Ryan, he likes to throw that changeup every so often. He likes that curveball. He likes the mixture. And when you work with a catcher who knows that, it takes less time to be shaking off signs, you to become less frustrated at having to get the pitch called that you want.
And Daniels takes high for ball 2. Count even up at 2-2. Daniels starting this game with that .500 on base percentage, tops in the National League. Ooh, struck him out. Boy, that was a wicked pitch. And that is strikeout number 4.
There's that fastball down and away, wasn't in the strike zone. You can see Cal upset with himself. He threw him a nasty sinker right here. I don't look at that. Down and away. Some kind of movement on that, almost like a screwball. And of course, Nolan could probably throw that, what is an off-speed pitch to him, that sinker, at probably 86, 87 miles an hour.
Davis popped out to end the first inning. He can bang one over the boards here and tie this thing up. That's inside.
Well, as a catcher and as a pitcher, you have to know who's on deck behind Eric Davis. O'Neill struck out the last time with the diet of curveballs, and then you get Bo Diaz. And sometimes you pitch around people to get to other people that you can get out. With one out in the inning, I'm sure he's going to have to try to come in, but it'll be a mixture of that curveball or busting him in with that fastball.
Oh boy, power against power.
Eric says he's been seeing the ball better. He was not fooled by pitches, and he said after yesterday's ball game, he went 3 for 5, that he was now seeing the ball well, and that's all he needs to do, or has to do, and to feel effective. Then it's just a matter of time till it turns around for him. Yesterday, little breakage in that slump.
Off the inside corner. Davis looking back at John Kibler saying, was that a strike? 1 ball and 2 strikes. Treadway out there at second.
Take a look at that pitch, Jay. Pretty good pitch.
Yeah, it looked good. And it's popped up. Nearly hits the roof. It'll come down eventually for Ramirez. Davis pops out for the second time, this time to the shortstop. And it'll be up to Paul O'Neill. O'Neill struck out to start the second inning. Jackson, Ramirez, Doran, and Davis on this infield for the Astros. Hatcher, Young, and Bass left to right in the outfield, and the battery of Ryan and Mark Bailey. You're just joining us. Danny Jackson has been thrown out of the game, complaining about a balk call, or a couple of balk calls. It sure has made things interesting these first few weeks of the season. 1 ball the count to O'Neill. Reds won 8-2 yesterday. As you look at Treadway, won 4-2 on Friday. Could come back in extra innings. Lost 9-3 on Thursday. 2 balls and no strikes.
That brings the total of 6 balks called on the Reds. 3 have been called against Mario Soto and 1 against Dennis Rasmussen. Now 2 on Danny Jackson. 7 balks have been called on the opposition. I guess they're just keeping everything in balance. Checks and balances.
I wouldn't bet on that. Well, now it's ball 3. O'Neill may get something that he can do some damage with. Fastball right down the heart of the plate. Philadelphia and Montreal are tied up at 2-2 now, with Montreal batting in the 5th inning at Olympic Stadium.
3-0 fastball, having the take sign.
And on the infield, it's popped up. And Ramirez says, I'll do it. And he does. A run on 2 hits. Treadway stranded out there at second. Back with more from the Dome right after this.
Tonight,
Al, it was a mouse.
a rodent on the rampage.
He was in your shoes and he lived.
Married with children.
It's 5-3. The Astros leading the Reds. And Danny Jackson thrown out of the game. Frank Williams gets the call.
Frank 0-0. He's pitched in 4 ball games. 3 1/3 innings, 7 hits. 3 runs, 3 earned runs, and a couple of home runs, at bad times that have given up some big innings. He gave up the 3-run homer to Glenn Davis, you might remember, in Cincinnati. He gave up another home run that hurt the ball club. 8.10 ERA, and he was a workhorse. He had some problems in spring training with the arm, and now getting some work.
Williams from the Seattle, Washington area. Lives now in Lewiston, Idaho. Came from San Francisco in January of '87. 1 ball and no strikes to Kevin Bass. Bass doubled, got 2 RBIs in the first. Treadway throws out Bass.
Their grip on the turf with their spikes or rubber cleats, and here you see a little shaky move. He planted, but he didn't get any kind of friction underneath to hold him in position.
And this is high to Rafael Ramirez. Ramirez grounded out back in the 1st inning. This is new turf here in the Dome, strictly for baseball. They'll take this up. They have a way of rolling it up now and then putting down a new turf field that they have for football.
Different type of turf, I assume.
It's a little different. Yes, that's what they tell me. And they don't have to worry then about zippering in the sliding areas and the line problems and trying to get the white lines washed out.
Oh, and that was always so bad here.
Yeah, it was bad here, and it's nice that they're really doing a great job of refurbishing this remarkable old building here. Ronnie Robinson, the redhead. Foul back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pittsburgh leading Chicago 4-2. The Pirates still batting in the 3rd inning at Wrigley Field. Those Pirates are an improved club. Jim Leland's got some talented young people. Rafael Ramirez 1 for 12 in the series, and he's out of there. Well, there are 2 gone for Mark Bailey. Bailey singled to start the 2nd inning and later scored one of the 3 runs that the Astros plated in that inning. New York and Milwaukee are in the 3rd inning, and they're tied 1-1. Milwaukee taking the measure of the Yankees yesterday. Fouled away. The line on Danny Jackson, who was ejected. 2 innings pitched, 5 runs on 5 hits. He struck out none, walked 1, hit a batter, was charged with a couple of balks. Bailey is a .167 career hitter against Cincinnati. One ball and 1 strike. Injuries hampered Bailey in '87. Originally drafted as a 3rd baseman. A lot of catchers are drafted as 3rd baseman, it seems to me.
Well, you don't have a lot of range. You've got a good arm. They can try to put you behind the plate. He had a lot of problems at the plate. He really did. They expected him to be the starting catcher last year, and he really just was a total disappointment as far as swinging the bat, and that was a result even at the end of '86, and it started out in '87, wound up sending him to Tucson. Made some strides to get back here.
2 balls and 1 strike. That's a little low. Make it 3-1. Cardinals batting in the 6th at Shea Stadium, leading the Mets 2-0. Montreal up 4-2 over Philadelphia now. Phillies batting in the 6th. And the walk to Bailey. So Bailey has a single, and he scored in the 2nd. He gets a 2-out walk here. And here is Jackson, who doubled and later scored in the 2nd. Jackson hit a shot down the right side. Jackson's 25 years old. He spent '87 up and down Tucson and the big club. The side wheeler gets it in there. Shaw there as Bailey takes a short lead. Saski holding, and Sabo makes the play over to Treadway, and that'll do it. And it is 5-3 Astros. Astros leading at 5-3. We're in the Astrodome. And speaking of the dome, little mementos right there. Look at that. Johnny Bench's cufflinks. Now, where'd you pick those up?
1968 at the All-Star game.
Nice gift.
It really is. You know, I found them yesterday in my Wednesday when we came down here, and we found them in
your jewel box.
Yes, I had it put away.
It's Diaz to lead it off. 5-3 the Astros. Diaz singled and scored back in the 2nd, and Bo rips it to left. Hatcher backing up at the wall. He makes the catch. Bo's been getting good wood on that baseball, the homer yesterday and the single.
Well, those days off help. You know, it's tough to go out there at Bo's age to continually go in and day out, and it's very smart to give him some days off. He had a great first 2/3 of the season last year and then trailed off, and part of that was doing just the rigors of catching every day.
Saski singled in the 2nd. One ball to Nick. Boston in the 7th inning leads Texas 13-2. There goes the 13-run pool, folks.
Ooh. In that out in California.
Detroit 7, Kansas City 2. They're in the 6th.
All that stuff.
Cleveland 4-1 in the 7th over Baltimore. Toronto 2-0 over Minnesota. They're in the 8th inning at Toronto. And New York and Milwaukee are tied up 1-1. They're in the 4th inning. Here it is 5-3. We play in the 4th. Strike. It's 3-1 to Osaski. Three and two,
and you paint the black. Tough pitch for Nick to hit.
Down the line in right. On the run is Bass. He can't get there. It is off the wall, and it'll be a double for Osaski. Nick with a 2-for-2 day going.
Both of them to right field, and that's a good indication. They want Nick to shorten that swing. This is the same pitch, and with 2 strikes, he shortens that swing, just drives it the other way, hits the yellow line, and makes the ball in play. Bass playing it properly and getting it back into the infield, but Nick has the power to hit it out of any part of the ballpark, and it's good to see him holding back with 2 strikes. He's cut down his strikeouts this year.
Sabo got the sacrifice fly and the RBI in the 2nd. Reds have scored 1 in each of the first 3 innings, and he fouls that one away.
He's only struck out 12 times in 31 at bats. 33 at bats. That's not real good cutting down, but of course he had the virus for a while. If he cuts his swing down like that, he will cut down the strikeouts considerably. Eric Davis leads the Reds in strikeouts. He has 14.
Reds now about hit the Astros 6-5. Sabo fly ball out into left center. It's Young taking it.
That little work in the bullpen. Pat Perry was down there just in case something started, but they have called back the pinch hitter who was going to be sent up. Frank Williams is out on deck, and they are going ahead and go with Williams to pitch into the 4th inning.
Well, in his only plate appearance, Danny Jackson struck out against Ryan. Williams, we'll see what he can do against the legendary fireballer from here in the state of Texas. Strike on the inside corner.
He must have hit Nolan pretty well if he charged him off with a curveball. Tracy had a bat. He may have been the pinch hitter that they were going to use. I don't know if they wanted to use him that early, maybe with the 2 men on base, but it's really their power man off of the bench right now. Garcia, a pinch hitter yesterday, really got the Reds going with that leadoff double in the 8th inning, I believe it was, 7th inning.
And that is a little bit high. That was in the 8th, Johnny. Yeah, Garcia triggering a 5-run, 6-hit job, and Reds getting a very big win to go up 2-1 in the series. There's a strike. Mario Soto did a good job yesterday. It's good to know that he continues to pitch without any pain, and he is back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A little low. 2-2.
Didn't walk anybody. Had 3 strikeouts. 6 2/3 inning. Gave up both runs. But the fact is that Jimmy Lett down on the dugout this morning was telling me that he felt like Mario each time out. And he catches him and watches him in the bullpen. That each time out that he's picked up a little more speed, a little more freedom with that arm, and he's throwing very effectively. That fastball just make that changeup that much better.
No, that change was tough yesterday. Strikeout. That's number 5 for Nolan Ryan. The double by Osaski going by the boards.
Take a trip in Gary Shandling's flashback booth.
Like you don't have one.
can recall one wild party tonight.
Well, you hear a lot of noise here. They just posted the score. The Houston Rockets defeating the Lakers here in Houston this afternoon, 127 to 119, and that doesn't happen very often, either here or in Los Angeles. And
a little more frequency lately.
Yeah.
With Magic out of the lineup, it'll be a great season coming up for that, and a great season for the Reds if they can just come back from this little deficit. Of course, this is not going to make the difference in their season, but it sure adds to it when you can get your top pitcher up to this point thrown out of the game in the second inning after giving up 5 runs, and being able to come back against Nolan Ryan.
Ryan takes low. They've got nearly a whole book within a book when you look up Ryan in the Astrodome, the Astro brochure.
At this at bat, 4,571 strikeouts he has.
Gee, that's a bunch, isn't
and
it?
you really kind of expected Carlton to be the one with the record a couple of years ago. You know,
especially with the physical situation.
Sure.
Right.
We want to say hello to WAKY Channel 56 in Palm Bay, Florida. General Manager William Vareca and Sales Manager Fred Procease. And a Comcast Cable in Paducah, Kentucky. General Manager Ed Mount and Sales Manager Dan Daniels. Appreciate you being on the Reds Network.
Good old Paducah. That's a good town.
Well, we've got little tornado warnings here in the Houston area across the state of Texas. East Texas with a heavy thunderstorms till 8 o'clock tonight, but in here we're very safe and comfortable. We're comfortable.
Yeah, let's hope we're safe. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, there was a game rained out here. It was flooded out.
Well, I've been here a few times when we have driven away from the ballpark with water up to the fenders.
Yep. It can do some raining down here. The 2-2 from Williams. Strikeout. That is the second for Williams. And we're back around to the top of the order. Gerald Young, who has singled, stolen a base and scored. In the second, he was hit by a pitch and stranded at third. The Houston Astros have hit 9 home runs. They've stolen 12 of 18 bases coming into today's game. Strike 1 to Gerald Young. Young now 5 out of 14 in this series. That's high. Over in the American League, they start the day in the East with Cleveland leading by a half game over New York, 3.5 ahead of Detroit and Boston. Kansas City leading by a half game over Oakland and a game over Texas, Chicago, and California in the American League West. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, we've had some rain here today, and as Johnny mentioned, the tornado watches are out until 8 o'clock this evening for the Houston area. On deck, Billy Hatcher. Our old friend John Brody leading the seniors tournament, John, that you played in the celebrity event here this week, and wondering if the old Broad can hold on. I wonder if they can play today.
Well, a couple of youngsters up there, Bobby Nichols and John Brody, and the weather wasn't too good this morning. It wasn't raining, but they say it started raining about 12:30 out there.
They were going to try to start earlier today, I understand, so maybe they'll get it in.
Supposedly Chi-Chi called Don Davidson. Don was telling me he called him about 10 o'clock, so I don't know why Chi-Chi wasn't off yet.
3-2 pitch is fouled away. Well, it's been something to see these senior players come back. And
well, you were once aspiring to be a pro golfer at one time, 1954, I believe it was.
Yeah, I didn't know you remembered back that far.
Well, my dad used it. My dad told me all about you.
Yeah, aspiring is the right word. Popped up on the infield. Sabo. 2 gone. It's a wonderful game when I get enough strokes.
Yeah, but old Spot died. So you're on your own the rest of the year.
5 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Astros. 3-6-0 for the Reds. And here is Hatcher. He has flied to center and sacrificed successfully.
Was their center fielder until Gerald Young came along. And now Hatcher taking over for a longtime favorite of the Astro fans here in the Dome, Jose Cruz, who's now moved on to New York.
Pretty good outfield here now.
It really is very solid. Not greatest arms in the league by any stretch of the imagination, but very, very solid all the way around. Good speed in the outfield. When you talk about Hatcher, Young, and Bass, all 3 could play center field very easily and have in their minor league careers, and probably some here in the major leagues.
1-1 pitch, a little low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Reds got 1 on the home run by Larkin in the first. Astros got 2 in their half. Reds got another run in the second. Astros got 3 in the second. Reds got a singleton again in the third. That's where we are. 5-3 Astros. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Billy Hatcher.
Wearing that sleeve over his right elbow. Keeps a little heat in it, especially when you have a little problem with your elbow. Keeps some heat, and you can also keep putting the salve on it that keeps the warmth in there, keeps the blood moving.
Ooh, that just missed. Full count.
I think it fooled both of them. He'd been throwing those breaking balls to Hatcher, and Hatcher, a dead fastball hitter, got him chasing that 2-1 pitch. Came back with a good fastball on the outside corner.
That's inside and a walk. Williams got Bass and Ramirez and then walked Bailey in the third, and after he got Ryan and Young here, he walks Hatcher. Second pass. Bill Doran. Doran has popped out and grounded out. Doran played in every game for the Astros last season. He had a career high in average of 283, and home runs was 16, and RBIs was 79. Over, back in time.
The fans yell for balk, but the only time they call balks is when they don't throw to first base.
Williams put that one right over the plate. Williams was the 3rd busiest pitcher in the National League. 85 appearances last year. He and Murphy with 87. Of course, gave the Reds a pair of 80-plus pitchers. And it was the first time that had happened in club history.
And Murphy set the record for left-handers,
right,
as far as appearances concerned. Hard workers.
Close.
And Murphy coming back again this year. He's been in 5 ball games. Rio has been in 7. Frank now in his 5th ball game. Pat Perry has been in 5 ball games. John Franco has been in 5 ball games.
Rio certainly has been impressive.
Yes, after one bad outing, they gave him the ball again, and he went right back to doing the task and won his first game for the Reds. Now with three wins for the Reds, their top winner, and 3 wins should be the top of the National League.
Jose Rio. Mario Soto, Pat Perry there on the right. Williams got his spikes hung up. Trying a quick pitch over there. Hatcher goes down to second. Error charged to the pitcher.
Trying to make the quick move to first base. Oh, his right foot slipped out from underneath him. Hatcher with a dive. And Nick couldn't even dive for that one himself. That was so far off. Screen stops it. No bounce back, and Hatcher easily gets to second.
Doran, 1 strike the count. Now he's got an opportunity to pick up Hatcher. Foul tip, 0-2. In the 8th inning at Toronto, and the Blue Jays continue to lead Minnesota 2-0. Milwaukee is leading New York now 2-1, and they're in the 5th inning. Pittsburgh 5-2 over the Cubs. Pirates batting in the 4th. New York's batting in the 8th at Shea Stadium. St. Louis leading that one 2-0. In the 6th at Montreal, Expos lead at 4-2 over the Phillies. Little high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Doran has good speed. He's got Hatcher out there. And the jump missed time by Williams, but it doesn't make any difference as Larkin came in from behind him to make the play. And it is a 5-3 score on the board here in the Dome, favoring the Astros. Five to 3 Astros. You know, the Reds will return to Riverfront tomorrow, begin a 4-game series with the Western Division champ Giants. Later in the month, the Mets are in a big weekend series. Games Friday, April the 29th, Saturday the 30th, and Sunday, May 1st. And tickets for all the Reds home games are available at the stadium ticket office, the Reds gift shop, at the Hyatt, all the Ticketmaster locations. And by phone, you can call 513-421-REDS or 1-800-525-5900. And we hope to see a lot of you at Riverfront this week for that Giants series. Nolan Ryan back to the hill. Barry Larkin set to lead it off in the 5th. Here's the way he led off the game as he banged his first home run of the season. As you see Hatcher going back, it is over the yellow line. And Larkin doubled and scored in the 3rd. His average is up to 377. First offering from Ryan in there for a strike. The sweeper is outside. Larkin, the first-round draft choice in June of '85, hit .348 against Houston in '87. That caught the outside corner. Larkin was on the U.S. Olympic baseball team in '84, and of course an '82 graduate of Moeller High in Cincinnati. Slap foul.
Ryan working away. Found out he didn't have much success inside. He's throwing him 2 good fastballs right out on the black, and the curveball that was so tough to hit, impossible to hit when he drops that ball on the outside corner. Ryan's has always been a slow worker. This time he stays on the mound, but in past years he's with the arm problem. He's walked around that mound to let that arm regroup.
Fouled away. Notice the Astro bench. One of the coaches just got up and moved Gerald Young right straight away into center. He was shaded over toward left.
Well, I guess since they've changed the pattern of pitching him away. Originally they tried to pitch him in, as we saw the effectiveness of Larkin getting the home run and the double. Now they're going to pitch him away. If he throws that curveball, then he's got that gap out in the left center. But he's going to try to pitch him away with a fastball. This time fastball again on the outside part of the plate.
And into right, Bass backing up. He makes the play. Jeff Treadway has flied to left. doubled, got an RBI in the third. It was his second of the season in the RBI department. Treadway from Columbus, Georgia. 315 at Nashville last season.
Talked the other night about Jeff and how he has to stay back on that left leg so that he can wait a little longer and then be quick.
And as you pointed out, that's what he did in that third inning. 2 balls and no strikes. The Mets have scored in the bottom of the 8th inning at Shea Stadium. The Cardinals still leading 2-1, and the Mets still batting. Saw Nolan Ryan yesterday having his picture taken with some crippled children here. He's a great citizen and a great credit to this game.
Alvin, Texas, not too far away from here. Got his little ranch over there. Raises some horses.
3-1. That's in at the letters.
Think about making Ryan pitch, or even taking the 3-0 pitches. Not known for his total control. He's had better control today. But you make him throw those pitches, and of course Ryan has been limited in the past with the number of pitches he has thrown per game. That was under the directive of Dick Wagner. Now they've sort of thrown that out of the way, and towards the end of the last season he started up to 115, 120 pitches. He's thrown close to 200 pitches in the game before.
That's the first walk that he's given up. Daniels with the opportunity now, and he has struck out twice. Up to now, Nolan Ryan has been able to handle Daniels and Davis. Daniels striking out twice and Davis popping out twice. And this will be out of play. Ball has a funny sound when you foul it off indoors, doesn't it?
Wholly different ballgame, just like in Montreal. Now it'll be interesting to go up there when they've got the top on. Did not get to see that as they finished it up last year.
I was there in September. It's you can see a lot better, really.
Can you?
Yeah, with the roof on and the way they've got it set up now, it's much easier to see.
They had the air conditioning on, didn't they? The first part of the season, they had so many home runs. They felt like with so many people in that it was so warm. What a nice thing to talk about, the warmth in Montreal. Playing in that, we used to play at Parc Jerry.
Yes.
And you can remember those metal seats, and it was wide open. And you're talking about some snow flurries coming in there with some cold wind. Even in the new stadium, Olympiad, it was cold, but this will be a welcome change.
Parc Jerry, I broadcast the first major league game ever played there. And it was between the Cardinals and Montreal, of course, and I will never forget it because Dal Maxville hit a home run. Little pop-up down the right side, 35-mile-an-hour wind just carried right over the wall.
Well, that's where Super Scout Jimmy Stewart for the Reds hit a home run over that scoreboard and in that swimming pool down in right field. I've seen it where they tried to put the tarp on it, and it blew the tarp and the guys who was holding it onto it out to the right field fence, a little wire fence, chain link fence.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
They used to have to wait. Remember when they used to have to wait because the sun would be setting?
Sure.
And they would have to hold up the game until the sun went down, because any throw from the third baseman to the first baseman, even warming up an infield, they couldn't see it between innings.
It was a quaint and rather interesting little park.
Yes. Sublime to the ridiculous. That was from the ridiculous to sublime when they went to the Olympiad.
1-2 the count. Into center field. Young will handle it. Covers some ground out there, does Gerald Young. We talked about this good outfield of the Astros. Now Davis, who has popped out twice, will have another shot at Nolan Ryan. It's 5-3 Astros, 5th inning. John Kibler crew chief and the veteran umpire behind the plate.
23 years. John was a former highway patrolman. This day, I still call him Broderick Crawford.
There's one on the corner. Well, that had good velocity on it, John.
Yes. He still gets it up there around 95 miles an hour. When he's throwing 92 or 93, he doesn't feel like he's got any pop on the ball. Every major league pitcher would just trade with him right now.
I know a lot of them that would. Isn't that the truth? Oh, 2.
Wanted to get that fastball in if he wanted to. In fact, that's where Mark Bailey wanted him to get the fastball, and that ball out over the plate. But having only walked one, his control not that far off. It's amazing what this man at 41 years old can still do.
See if he wastes one here. Comes right back. He came right back with one, and it's popped up. So he gets Davis to pop out all 3 times as he pops it out to the first baseman, Glenn Davis. It's still 5-3, Houston.
Well, the middle of the 5th inning, and the Reds trailing 5-3. And the next Super X Senior Citizen Special is Thursday, April 21st, when the Reds meets the Giants at 12:35. Veteran Reds fans 65 and over may purchase box or reserve seat tickets at half price in advance of the game. And there is no better way to get to the game than the Henry Metro Shuttle. Park at the Town Center Garage and board the buses at Music Hall. So make plans now for the next Senior Citizens Business Day Special, Thursday, April 21st, thanks to Super X. Don't forget, park at the Town Center Garage and board the buses at Music Hall.
John Franco there.
Tom Browning.
Mr. Browning, Lee May. And now
Jim Lett.
We better take a look at Glenn Davis. Davis to lead it off, and it's a strike from Frank Williams. Davis today has walked and scored in the first and flied deep to Eric Davis. Banged into the wall out at the 400 mark. Off the glove of Sabo. It's going to be a single. It was a hot shot.
For a young third baseman not used to playing on AstroTurf, you catch that dirt and then you see it hit. Well, it looked like it might have clipped the bag a little bit and came back off of that dirt onto the turf. Get some funny bounces, but those backhanders you got to make.
Bass doubled. Got a couple of RBIs in the first. And he grounded out in the third. Right on the corner.
Just in case, Pat Perry is going down to the bullpen. Williams' outings usually are about 2 innings. Might get him to go 3 this early in the season with having come out of spring with a sore arm. They're getting good work out of Frank.
And changeup is way outside. Williams had not given up a hit until this leadoff single by Davis. In case you're just joining us, Danny Jackson was ejected as there were some complaints about some balk calls. It is foul. Jammed him, and he fought it off the fists and almost got it inside the line. Kevin Bass will come back, the switch hitter. A lot of people talking about Dave Winfield coming down here in a deal that might send Bass away, but I tell you, I like Kevin Bass. He could play on my team.
Certainly could. One thing that negated the trade was Winfield's 10-5 rule.
Yeah.
10 years in the major leagues, 5 with his last 5 with the same team, and he has the right to veto any trade. Supposedly he had a list of teams that he would go to, a lot of them in the Eastern Division of the American League, which they do not want to involve those other ball clubs with a guy like Winfield. They would like to get him out of the league if they're going to get him out of the team. But Bass, very steady, very solid performer.
A little high. They're asking for an appeal. If he went around, Dave Pallone at third base says no. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Astros lead at 5-3. Both clubs with 6 hits. The Reds have committed the only error. Fouled away. Sellout crowd here in the Astrodome. Pack this place this Sunday to watch these 2 rivals in the National League West go at it. Hope you're enjoying the sights and sounds of Reds baseball from the Dome all along the Reds television network. Here's the 2-2, and it's full as that was in there low. Ramirez is on deck. Davis is at first. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Sabo for 1. Treadway over to first in time. The double play. That is the 11th double play.
And the perfect ball to do it on. A nice big hopper to Sabo, moved to his left as he moves to his left, and of course a good turn by Treadway, and they still only get Bass by a step with a good hustle.
Ramirez is grounded out and struck out. High chop, charged by Larkin. Good play. Oh, we have played 5 here in the Astrodome. Astros 5, Reds 3.
Five to 3 ball game here in the Astrodome. Nolan Ryan on the mound. Danny Jackson started for the Reds, went only 2 innings before he was ejected by Eric Gregg, the second base umpire, over, well, some problems with the balk call as usual. There's been a lot of that around the major leagues, Jay, and Reds started off with some offense early with the leadoff home run by Barry Larkin, but then all of a sudden the Astros offense came to life.
Well, once again, I leave you with a deficit as we move into the 6th inning, and get us some runs, old JDB.
I'm used to it. I can handle it from here. I would like for you to just come through, though, and give me a little pad sometime.
I'm working on it.
Here's Paul O'Neill, the leadoff in the 6th inning, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop up to short. Ryan with a curveball, and it's going to be called for a strike. And that's what Paul O'Neill will see as a steady diet of curveballs, and he doesn't understand why that curveball down below the knees is called a strike. John Gibbler said, because I said so. 3 runs, 6 hit, and an error for the Reds. Fastball, that one out of the strike zone, but chased by O'Neill. We'll just show him that fastball. He won't try to throw him too many in the strike zone. 5 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for the Astros. Pat Perry in the bullpen more than likely will come in to pitch in the 6th inning as Frank Williams has gone 3. Fastball got looking. Strikeout number 6 for Noli. Yeah, we've seen them in white. We've seen them in yellow. Now those have a little Astro stripe to them, and that has nothing but just 3 or 4 inches of the plate. And Paul O'Neill knew it. Took his leave. Bo Diaz now will come to the plate. Had a single to center and scored in the 2nd inning. Lined hard to left fielder Billy Hatcher, way out in front of the curveball. Sometimes you go up there guessing that Ryan will challenge you with that fastball right away, and if that's been his pattern, sometimes if you guess wrong you look like that, but that's all right. It's not wrong to look for pitches. This one a fastball popped up in the infield. Nolan Ryan calls for Chuck Jackson, the third baseman, and he'll put it away. There have been some sky-high pop-ups.
Major league variety
and
here
that's
today.
what you expect when you get that good heat by Nolan and you get underneath that rising fastball. 2 quick outs here in the 6th inning. Perry, who's been warming up prior to as soon as Williams gave up the leadoff single to Glenn Davis. You would think that because he is warming up that he will go into pitch. 3 innings is a lot for Frank. Here's Nick. Fastball right down the middle, and he swung through it. Nick 2 for 2 on the day. Single to right and a double down the right field line on a 3-2 pitch. Maybe starting to feel better now. That virus. Get that bat going. Missed down and away.
Milwaukee, John, now leading New York 5-1. The Brewers still batting in the 5th inning.
Curveball bounced in the dirt. St. Louis has made a pitching change in New York. New York batting in the bottom of the 8th. Score 2-1 with the Cardinals leading on Pendleton and Lindemann's home runs. Back-to-back. Yesterday there were back-to-back home runs off Todd Worrell, which brought the Mets back from a 4-3 deficit, and Mets win 6-4. Missed down, 3 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning.
Cardinals have also lost the left-handed starter McGrain with a rib cage injury. They really have come on hard times over there.
Seems to help. You know, that pitching staff has really been unbelievably hurt by injuries. Tudor out last year, now with some problems early this year, and now McGrain. On the inside part of the plate swinging. Ball was up and in. Would have been ball 4. But the count runs full 3-2 as Chris Sabo waits on deck.
Tough pitch to lay off of.
Well, it is. You put in your mind you want the fastball. He's got to challenge you, and you're trying to take it out of here, and Noli gets the pitch right there in the right place. Reds go back home tomorrow to start a 4-game series with the San Francisco Giants. Here's a fastball out over the plate, hit up the middle, a 3-for-3 day for Nick Osowski. Twice base hits with the count full.
Good to see him starting to swing that bat, isn't it?
Came into this series hitting 100. Now 3-for-3 on the day after starting the game at 161. Here's Chris and his first RBI of the season and his career. Sacrifice fly in the 2nd inning. That drove in Bo Diaz, who was aboard on the single, went to 2nd on the base hit by Osowski, went to 3rd on a wild pitch, and then scored on the sacrifice fly. Breaking ball down. Bailey blocks it.
First final of the afternoon. Toronto defeats Minnesota 2-0.
Minnesota with a lot of problems on the road last year. They won yesterday. Garcia's moved out to the on-deck circle. Nice. Noli misses with the 2nd pitch, and it's 2-0. Leo got the rally started yesterday with a double in the 8th inning. Good man for the ball club. Solid defensively, good speed, and we'd like to see him hitting in this inning. Two 2-0 pitch. Taking all the way? No. Threw him a changeup.
Sure did.
It's pretty confident. Pretty smart too. 2 balls and 1 strike. Lee May coaching at first base. Bruce Kim at third base for the Reds. Ball hit into right field. Should be easy for Bass. Pats it a couple of times. And we're out of here with the base hit. 1 left. Reds trail 5-3. We're going to the bottom of the 6th. In the Reds lineup as Leo Garcia goes into play right field. O'Neill, who was playing right field, moves into first base, and Pat Perry comes in to do the pitching after Williams pitches 3 innings. So Garcia will bat 9th, and Perry will be put in the 7th position.
Perry with a record of 1-1 and a 7.56 ERA. 8 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 8 runs.
In with the off-speed pitch to Bailey, 1-0. Bailey 0-1. Bailey with 1 for 1 on the day, a single and a walk. Scored in the 2nd inning. He led off the inning. First pitch hitting Jackson hit the next pitch that was thrown in the inning for a double, and at second and third, and then a balk got a run in.
Perry's going to bat in the number 7 spot. Garcia will be in the number 9 position.
Working on his screwball, turns it over, and it's down and away. 2 balls. And I thought 1 strike.
I think you're right.
The scoreboard has 2-0, but
somebody missed a pitch somewhere.
There's the count as John Kibler holds up 3 on the left hand, 1 on the right to indicate that the scoreboard is wrong, and Pat Perry indicates to him working on the changeup, throwing him 2-1 changeup and not challenging Bailey, and now he's walked him. And really not very effective at finding the plate for Perry. An 8 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 8 runs, 7 earned runs, 2 home runs he's given up, and that's the 6 base on balls to go with 6 strikeouts. And Chuck Jackson will be at the plate, 1 for 2, a double scored in the second, and then had a hit into a fielder's choice in the third. There goes Bailey on a hit and run. It'll be a ground out to Larkin. He'll make the play. So they advance the runner, but there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Hitting and running.
Well, that's not unusual for Hal Lanier. It's the kind of thing that you expect him to do. This club has scored runs in bunches this year, which they don't normally figure to do. They normally scratch out runs and play the running game and try to make the most of whatever they can get.
Nolan Ryan had a single in the 2nd inning. 3 consecutive hits leading off the inning, and they scored 3 runs. Perry misses inside with a fastball. Frank Williams struck him out in the 4th inning. Bailey, with not good speed, stands at second base. The outfield, actually Garcia fairly deep in right field, grounded foul down past Dennis Minke. Straight away for Noli. Right
Mets
side.
and Cardinals, John, are now 2-2 in the 8th, and the Mets are still batting.
Well, you've got to come back in the late innings. 75 Reds, I think, were set 47 times. Came back trailing and came back to win. The good ball clubs do that. They get those pitchers to come in and hold them until you can get some offense going. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Pat really turned that over. I don't know if his
turned it over Ryan's head and he still swung at it.
Yeah, that's you wonder about velocity. Let's see if he'll pump the fastball. No, he's going to do it again and gets him with a strikeout. Screwball, and 2 outs in the inning, and that'll bring Gerald Young to the plate. Young, base hit leading off the 1st inning, came around to score, had a stolen base, hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning, and popped up to Chris Sabo at 3rd in the 4th. Headed for a 5 at bat day. The screwball turned over down the right field line. It will run out of room. So a 7-game road trip for the Reds. Their 11th consecutive games. They'll play 18 consecutive days as they go through next week with 4 with the Giants, and then go the weekend down to Atlanta before a day off on Monday. And they start up again with 2 games. We will show you those games from Montreal, the 26th and 27th, and we'll also show you the 2 of the 3 games in Atlanta on Friday and Sunday. Ball in the dirt, blocked by Bo. 1 ball, 1 strike. For Frank Williams, 3 innings, Gave up 1 hit, struck out 1 and walked 2, and was charged with an error. Grounded. Pass. Perry got to hurry. Treadway will have no play. The base hit for Gerald Young, his second of the day, 2 for 3. Infield variety, and I'm not sure that if Perry had not touched that ball, Treadway would have had a sure out. Billy Hatcher has 99 career stolen bases, none on the day. He's 0 for 2, walked in the 4th. Comes up with men at the corners. Perry's been throwing a lot of off-speed pitches. Tries the fastball, and it's downstairs. Well, the 13-run pool's out. Boston scored 2 more times to put it to 15-2.
Boy, oh boy.
And they just took it off the board, so that's the final, looks like. 15-2 is the final, Boston over Texas. Oh, it's going to be a pitch out. They thought maybe Gerald Young might be running, and the pitch out almost too far out. Barry Larkin broke early towards second base. On the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Now he could be running. There he goes. All-speed pitch fired down to second base. Double steal. Here comes Bailey. He won't be close. Wow. Bailey's speed, they let him go. Perry gets out of the inning after giving up a base on balls and a base hit. And the Reds have held him again. We go to the 7th inning. You can stand up and stretch and try to find 2 runs to tie this up.
The FBI is looking for this escaped killer. We'll show you how you can help catch him on America's Most Wanted.
Television's first weekly manhunt tonight.
It feels good to stand up and stretch. We need 2 runs. Jay Randolph giving me another deficit as we go into the 4th game of this series. To end the inning, the Reds with a lot of good execution here is the double steal. Gerald Young would have been safe by a mile. Here comes Mark Bailey. The throw by Treadway in plenty of time. The block by Bo, and I don't know what Bo's trying to tell John. John knew he was out all the way. Just making sure he saw that he had the ball in his hand. So the Reds go up against Nolan Ryan. Leo Garcia, who went in a double switch in the 6th inning, will now come up to face Nolan. Leo 2 for 6 on the year. 286, 2 for 7 with a double. 2 for 7 as a pinch hitter, but now he'll come up under game condition. Fastball upstairs, fouled out of play. Bailey looked late, saw it late, and before they had these panels painted the color that they are now, you very seldom ever saw those balls. So you're always having your first and third baseman point or holler and make sure that you had help from the dugout as well. First and third basemen are always charging towards home on pop-ups like that. Could never be sure that the catcher would see the ball. And you got to find it immediately, or you have to start hunting it in those panels. Third ball misses down. 1 ball and 1 strike. $39,169 on hand. Watch Ryan's fastball catch the outside part of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
This crowd having a big time doing the wave. And
well, they were up a lot in the first 2 innings, but since that time the offense has slowed down, and Ryan bounces 1 in the dirt. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On Garcia. Larkin on deck, followed by Jeff Treadway. Runs in the first, second, and third, but not enough to offset the 2 by Astros in the first and 3 in the second. And Ryan gets strikeout number 7 on the day as Garcia goes down swinging.
Well, he just went right through it. Hard one right down the middle. They continue to post the Ks.
Imagine what they'd have to do if they posted 4,573 Ks in this place. They'd block out some sections, wouldn't they? That's how many the Big Express has from Alvin, Texas. Curveball right in the heart of the plate. Barry Larkin, 2 for 3 on the day, a home run and a double. Flied to right field his last time up.
On 4 occasions in his career, Ryan has struck out 19.
4 occasions? Wow. A fastball on the outside edge. Larkin just cued it over towards our cameraman.
That Twins Blue Jay game, the winner Flanagan, the loser Straker. They had 37,000 at Toronto. 2-7-0 for the Blue Jays, 0-6-0 for the Twins.
No balls, 2 strikes. Purpose pitch. See, that's how you knock somebody down without throwing at their head. Whoop, up and in, and backsider. Well, if you hit Ryan hard, you wake him up as well. He just wants to make sure he knows that he remembers you did it and don't feel too comfortable. I think that just makes Barry a little bit more intense. Don't get too anxious, though, and go after a bad pitch. Foul tip. Would have been a ball, but he just got a part of it. And he went up and in and down and away. And that is vintage pitching right there from Nolan Ryan. 2 outs in the inning.
Good job by Bailey holding on.
Jeff Treadway. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Flied to left, doubled down the right field line to get an RBI, and walked in the 5th. The only walk given up by Ryan. Just a fastball foul back. Jackson shallow at third, about a step behind the bag, now moves up closer. Ramirez in a couple of steps, going back on the line. Middle depth for Nick Osaski, and John Kibler will not ask to help, and Treadway is called for the swing. No balls and 2 strikes. And Ryan seemingly hasn't lost much.
Well, as is so often the case, John, with great pitchers, they seem to be able to draw back and be even better late in a game than they were early.
Curveball. This time Treadway held, and the count 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You were talking about Maloney the other day and his ability to challenge people, and I can remember he used to be able to challenge people as well in the 9th as he could in the 1st.
And didn't have it packed in ice all the time. Curveball downstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, the ice has helped, but it's amazing that all those guys didn't use the ice so much back in those days and went out there every 4 days. But I think the ice is right here on this man is evident of the fact that he ices it down after every game, and he's 41 years old. And of course, the medicine and surgery has helped as well. Ground ball to the right side. Doran back behind the line, makes the play. 3 up, 3 down on the inning. The Express on a roll. Reds trail 5-3. We'll be back. First pitch by Pat Perry here in the top of the 7th inning to Billy Hatcher in there for a strike. Astros lead at 5-3. Hatcher on the day with a fly out, a sacrifice, and a base on balls. 0 for 1. Billy with 99 career stolen bases. Here's the hitter. He was at the plate. In the 6th inning, high pop-up at home plate. Here comes Sabo, but Bo will throw the mask away and make the one-hander right there. And 1 out in the inning. He was at the plate when Gerald Young attempted to steal, and Mark Bailey took off on the double steal attempt, and the throw by Diaz taken by Treadway, returned to Bo, and the out at the plate. So 1 out in the inning, and Billy Doran will come up 0 for 3.
First final in the National League, Montreal at Olympic Stadium, a 5-2 victory over the Phillies.
Montreal moves the game closer to 500, and Philadelphia sinks farther in the basement. Curveball on the inside part of the plate. And the Mets still batting in the bottom of the 8th inning.
They've been out a long time at Shea.
Screwball off the end of the bat. Billy saying, get it up here. Go harder. Cleveland about to make Baltimore a loser once again. It'll be their 12th loss in a row. 13 is the record. Lead 4-1. Perry misses outside. Bottom of the 9th. Baltimore in their final at bat. Milwaukee leading New York 5-1. They go to the 8th inning. In Milwaukee, top of the 8th. Tried to turn the ball over again. Missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rob Murphy begins to loosen in the pen. Perry would be the 5th hitter in the inning. Count now full after Perry started off ahead with the first 2 pitches. Glenn Davis waits on deck, and this ball hit hard and foul. Well, it was bag day, and Astros bag was passed out, and people came out a number of 39,169 to get those bags.
I thought there were more than that. They told us they had a sellout. But...
well, I think that's probably paid. They let a few of us in the park with our passes. 1 out of the inning as Doran grounds to Treadway. 2 out in the inning. And Glenn Davis. Davis with a single in the 5th. Fly deep to center in the 2nd. And was on with the base on balls in the 1st inning.
The Mets pull it out. Final 3-2.
Right at Larkin. 1-2-3 inning for Perry. It'll be the Reds with Daniels, Davis, and O'Neill in the 8th inning. They trail 5-3. Top of the 8th inning. Nolan Ryan on the hill for the Astros has gone all the way. He'll face Cal Daniels, Eric Davis, and Paul O'Neill. Dave Smith going down to the bullpen for the Astros to start to loosen. Daniels hit safely in 10 of the 11 games that he's played, and he's looking for his first hit of the day. 2 strikeouts and a pop up to center fielder Gerald Young has dropped his average to 378.
Johnny Ryan has not completed a game since April 25th of 1986.
That was partly due to the number of pitches that they wanted him to throw last year and the arm problem, and that's one reason Dave Smith is down in the bullpen. Last outing, 7 innings against the Reds, giving up 4 hits and striking out 11. He throws a lot of pitches, and oh, he's got Daniels frustrated. He gets out of the box. He said, how can he throw me that changeup? And it was a good changeup. We saw him throw it 2-0, so he has faith in that pitch. He's just a master. You know, he used to be so hard and either had strikeouts or walks, and that's why he had the 5 no-hitters. Now pitching under control. Bailey doing a good job behind the plate for him. Calls for the fastball, and I imagine Noli will take it off some if he wants to. This fly ball hit deep down the left field line. There goes Hatcher back to the wall down the line and makes the play in foul territory. Cal, every time he hits the ball hard to left field, we know he has the power to drive it out of here. And for a second, it looked like that ball might have a little more carry. As usual, down here in Houston, we get good camera work from our able-bodied cameraman. We've had good work all 3 games. We're glad that you've stayed with us. We hope you've seen all 3 ball games. Curveball downstairs. And once again, Roy and Jesse handling the work in the truck.
John Crow Productions, a great group of people. Mr. Crow and I have been associated for nearly 20 years.
Well, he gets the people together. He gets the good people, and they're going to call a strike. And Jesse and Roy kind of crack the whip down there, though. They make sure that Brad, our audio man, gets us in fine tune. He's threatened us a couple of times.
A couple?
Well, he's threatened you more than I. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball. He painted it on the outside corner.
Boy, that was a zipper in there. Woo.
They've sent Smith down to warm up, but he's just casually loosening.
He's watching, isn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't have to loosen a whole lot, especially when he jumps out the way he has. Dennis Walling is throwing beside him down there. They would make a double switch, or the fact that Walling may be going in for defense. Strikeout number 9. Can Nolan make it 176 times that he has 10 or more? He's got 4 outs to do it if he makes it.
Very impressive. Nolan Ryan.
Well, you thought that may have gotten to Nolan, and the offense for the Astros turned it on and turned things around for Nolan after he gave up single runs in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Paul O'Neill has been a strikeout victim 2 times today. Also popped to short. Infielders have had a day off. Ground ball in the 7th inning. Just about it as far as balls on the ground to the infielders. Had 2 pop-ups in the 1st. He had 2 pop-ups in the 3rd. He had fly balls in the 4th, fly balls in the 5th, fly balls in the 6th, the 1 ground out on the 7th. I think that foul ball. 2 balls and a strike. Glenn Davis handles it. Lee May gives him plenty of room, really. No, doesn't want to show his arm up. Came under a lot of good-natured kidding and for the game about his arm. He never had much of an arm. I think his retaliatory remarks were, I played in the majors 17 years. How long did you play?
How long did you play?
And to the gentleman who was kidding him, couldn't say anything. Another pop-up. Chuck Jackson a couple of steps outside the line. 1-2-3 inning for Nolan Ryan. The Astros in command with Ryan behind him. 5-3. Bottom of the 8th.
Neither team has been able to score since the 3rd inning. 5-3 Astros. Reds ticket offices at Riverfront Stadium and the Reds gift shop open daily. Seats for all the Reds home games, including the special dates, are on sale. Park free on the stadium plaza while purchasing tickets, and the Reds computerized ticket system lets you buy the very best seats that are available at all the ticket outlets. The Reds tickets also available by phone, mail, at all the Ticketmaster locations.
Pat Perry pitching here in the 8th inning. This will be his 3rd inning of work. Jackson went 2. Frank Williams 3, and now Perry into his 3rd inning. Dave Smith still warming in the bullpen. Get something going. They may just have an extra hitter up there for Ryan. Try to open this game up, as the Reds have won a couple of ball games in the 8th and 9th innings, and actually the 10th inning in the 1 extra inning game. Smith says, I'm ready, and maybe he is ready, or maybe he doesn't have to warm up anymore. Ground ball right at Sabo on a big hop. Quickly over and 1 out. That's now 1 for 4 on the day. Rafael Ramirez 0 for 3.
He is 1 for 15 in this series. actually 1 for 14 in the series. Nolan Ryan sitting
without a jacket.
Like an afternoon in the park.
First thing most pitchers do is put that jacket on when they get in to the dugout, but Nolan, of course, under the comforts of the dome, may not need it. Reds and the Giants tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And of course, Thursday's the businessman special, and that's the senior citizen special. Here's a base hit into center field. Eric on a couple of hops will get it back into Jeff Treadway. Ruffy made the big turn, but nowhere to go, and a base hit. Chuck Jackson, Mark Bailey. First, then Jackson, and then Ryan. Dennis Minky flashes some signs down to Bailey. Maybe we'll get an insurance run. Rob Murphy goes down to the bullpen. Perry, this being his third inning. Steve Henderson with a bat in the Astros dugout, starting to get loose. He won't have to bunt him over here. Line drive left field. Daniels will hold Ramirez at second base, but Pat Perry giving it back-to-back base hits, and Chuck Jackson at the plate with 1 out. And Bailey, not a bad day for the youngster who didn't have a hit coming into this game and this season, and Steve Henderson steps out of the dugout. He will hit for Ryan as of this thought anyway. Breeden comes out of the dugout as well, and Bailey a 2 for 2 day. A couple of base hits and a couple of walks. He was thrown out at home plate on a double steal while he and Gerald Young were trying to execute that in the 6th inning. Those runners at first and 6. Scotty, who makes the lineup changes, pitching changes that is, points down to the bullpen, and indeed it will be Rob Murphy. Murph is warmed up once, so he should be just about loose. Perry leaves the mound, and as Rob Murphy comes in, we'll go out for just a moment with the Reds trailing 5-3. 2 men on, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Back here in the bottom of the 8th in the Astrodome, and Rob Murphy comes on as 39,169 started, and more than half of those people still on hand. Murphy 0-0 with a 1.08 ERA. He was talking about how his slider and fastball were working. I thought he was having a problem. I said, well, how can you complain with the 1.08 ERA? 8 1/3 innings. They're always trying to get better. 5 hits, 1 run given up, but he's walked 6, and that's not normal for Rob.
Perry goes 2 1/3. And he gives up 2 hits, struck out 1, walked 1, and the men on base, of course, belong to him.
And the runners are Rafael Ramirez at second and Mark Bailey over at first. Matt Galante, the coach, down at the bottom of your screen, telling Bailey a few things. Make sure that he watches Ramirez ahead of him. And Murphy goes to work on Chuck Jackson. Steve Henderson out in the on-deck circle for the Astros, and we got another reliever going down to warm up down in the bullpen. Sure, if the Astros open this game up, they may not use Dave Smith. They would come up with a couple more runs. Be interesting to see what Hal Lanier wants to do. Right now, he's hoping that Chuck Jackson can do the job. Hard ground ball, O'Neill. Low throw to Larkin. He returns it. Not in time, and that's a tough throw to make to begin with. Oh, he really changed feet very effectively there and made the throw, and kind of a dangerous throw because Murphy has to get over there under control himself. O'Neill, not normally a first baseman, but started a couple of games in San Francisco. There's the tag by Larkin. And Murph over there trying to find his hat. The umpire's hat was on the ground. And Ramirez, hoping to be the 6th run of the day for the Astro, waits at third, and Chuck Jackson stands at first. Steve Henderson, the pinch hit. Came up in the 9th inning, made the last out against John Franco in that extra inning ball game.
Nolan Ryan, 8 innings, 3 runs, 7 hits, strikes out 9, walks 1. Fine performance for Ryan.
Henderson 4 for 12 on the year, 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter with an RBI. Slider over for a strike. One ball, one strike. Just a great performance by Nolan Ryan. Steve, former Cincinnati Red player, went to Oakland, Mets. Ball in the dirt, blocked well by Bo, and he holds Chuck Jackson at first base, and Ramirez has to return to third. Steve Henderson fan club. Being from the Houston area, he has a few of his friends and fans down here. The most liked people wherever he's been. Hard worker. Slider high. Steve always had a problem with his backswing. When he would go into the plate as he is right now, he would reach down to the plate and then he would keep holding his hand up time, and it upset a few people, and then he'd put that bat way back. He would start to bring it back. Now he's walked. We won't be able to see that. But he would bring his bat back, and it always gave catchers a fit because he was always making contact with the glove, and he was always trying to get his thoughts together. And he would wait so long, make the pitcher wait so long that it got him upset. They upset Rick Russell one time, and Russell threw at him and hit him. Then threw at him and missed him. Then on the next pitch, Henderson put the bat back, hit the catcher's glove, and the catcher called timeout. But Russell thought that it was Henderson who did it again. He threw over, hit him. Then there was almost a fight. There was a warning to either pitcher not to be throwing at people. Russell led off the inning, and Jerry Kuzman was the pitcher, and Jerry put a baseball between the helmet and the head of Rick Russell. Kuzi was out of the game, but proved his point. Slider on the inside part of the plate to Young. Over for a strike. Bases are loaded here in the Dome. Ramirez, Chuck Jackson, and Steve Henderson. Young with a couple of base hits today, swings and misses on the down on the slider. Single in the first and scored, was hit by a pitch in the second, popped up, and then got an infield single in the sixth inning. Whoa, good down slider, got him swinging. And Murphy keeps the Reds only 2 runs down with a fine performance, picking up for Pat Perry. We're going to the 9th inning, last chance. It'll be Dave Smith on the mound for the Astros. Top of the 9th inning, last chance for the Reds in a 5-3 ball game, and Dave Smith comes on, and there's Alan Ashby to do the catching for him. Smith came in the other night in relief and threw one pitch and very effectively got him out. 3.86 ERA, 0-1.
He's pitched 4 2/3 innings so far this year.
He's usually the man that Hal Lanier goes to when he wants the game saved. Split finger over for a strike at the knees. Bo, Nick, and Chris to follow. Bo 1 for 3 on the day. Base hit in the second, lined hard to left fielder Hatcher, and then popped up to third base.
Smith has the only save on the staff so far this season.
This one hit in the air. Well, the Reds, or should I say both ball clubs really, are very close to tying a National League record. Only 1 assist in the game to this point. I was mentioning that the fact that it only had 1 ground ball, that was to Treadway, who grounded to Billy Doran. And John Browdy just came down here between innings and said this could be a record. Sasky, of course, was taken out. That was Perry in his position. So Dave Collins will hit for the pitcher. Collins was hit by a pitch in a big inning the other night against Mike Scott. And Collins takes the first pitch in and almost hit him. And John Kibler says it's a strike. 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter is Collins. No balls, 2 strikes. What started off as a very slow ball game in the first 4 innings now has picked up speed. Mainly the fact that there's been little offense. Only 1 hit for the Reds in the last 4 innings. And 1 hit for the Astros through a period of 5 before they got the 2 hits in the 8th. Ooh, Dave Smith wanted that one.
Last run that has been scored in this game came by the Reds in the 3rd inning. Astros got 2 in the 1st and 3 in the 2nd. Reds single runs in the first 3 innings.
Strike 3, got him. Dave Smith coming on and making short work of the Reds. And 1 out away from a record. So Smith with the strikeout faces Sabo. Sabo swings at a fastball, doesn't get it. Chris 0 for 2. His first RBI of his major league career. With a sacrifice fly just outside. Leo Garcia, who came in the 7th inning, waits on deck. That's a record. They just tied the National League record. Fewest assists in a ball game by a ball club, the Houston Astros, only with 1. Reds scored runs in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, then have been shut down by the Houston Astros. Nolan Ryan and now Dave Smith. The Astros with 5 runs in the first 2 innings make it stand up 5-3. It's the Astros. It was a 4-3, and we'll be back.
Well, the final here in the Astrodome is 5-3. It was 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors, and 8 left for the Astros. And the winning pitcher, Nolan Ryan, he goes to 2-0 on the year. 3 runs, 7 hits, an error, and 5 left for the Cincinnati Reds. Jackson, who was ejected in this ball game after 2 innings of work, arguing about a balk call, and his record now is 2-1. And Johnny, it was a game, a funny game, really. All the scoring early on, and no one could get much done late in this ball game.
Well, they really couldn't, and that's the thing about Nolan Ryan. His control exceptional today, and the problem was that Danny Jackson had problems getting the ball downstairs on the Astro hitters, and then the bullpen came in and did a good job. A good effort by Williams and Perry. They've needed good outings. They have not had those up until this point. So good outing. It looked good for the Reds. We started off the game with a home run by Barry Larkin, his first of the year, and we have Barry downstairs, and Barry must have been seeing Ryan awful well, and then I guess Barry, that he started to change his pattern on. He started going outside, and the last time up he started coming up and in.
He was throwing me all kind of stuff today. He was throwing really hard today, and it's always tough to face Ryan in the dome here. You know, he did change his pattern the last 2 times out. He started throwing me away. The first 2 times I think he thought he could bust me in, and I was ready for the ball inside, but he did change his pattern, and that's why he's a great pitcher. He made the adjustment.
Well, if you've got a little monitor there, you can watch this, because I think you might always like to look at the home runs you hit off of Nolan Ryan. I think that's 1 more than I have against Nolan Ryan during my career.
That's my first one against Nolan too.
Well, Barry, you had 10 hits in the series. You had 3 the first 2 games, 2 yesterday, and 2 again today. And is this just a park that you're seeing the ball well in, or all of a sudden now everything is coming to fruition?
Well, last year I didn't see the ball very well here. I think it's just that I feel like I'm in a groove right now. I'm seeing every pitch pretty good, and you know, I'm just swinging the bat well, and you know, players getting those grooves and pitchers getting those grooves, and Ryan was in the groove tonight, and I was in the groove, so it was a good matchup.
Barry, if you can think back earlier into the game, that shot that came to you, were you blocked a little bit on that play, and that shot that went off your glove? It looked for a moment like we might be able to turn a double play there.
Right. Chuck Jackson was on second base, and Ryan was up, so I was playing him a little bit up the middle to hit the ball, maybe even bunt up the middle. and he shielded me a little bit, and I thought I had the ball, but when I dove, I saw that it was in the center field. He hit a shot, but I thought I should have got it.
Well, this is truly a game of inches, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And Barry, I don't know if you had a better advantage point than we did about Danny Jackson's balks and what Eric Gregg was doing. It's hard for me to understand how an umpire can throw a guy out when he's standing all the way out at second base and a guy sitting in the dugout, and unless there was a lot of hand gestures.
I don't know that he heard what Danny was saying. I didn't hear what he was saying, but he knew Danny was yelling at him, and he knew Danny was giving him problems the whole time he was in the dugout. So I guess he got fed up with it. The umpires are pretty much like that this year. They they're not putting up with too much, and they're going to make the calls on the balks. So
we just looked at that in regular motion, and it's questionable. The language says you're supposed to pause for a full second, but certainly it's interesting to see what's happening with the game, and I'm wondering, how do the players feel? Are you fellows concerned that really this thing might get out of hand?
Well, I think when we're in the field, we're worried about it. Every time the pitcher goes to a windup, we're wondering if they're going to call a balk or not. Being a base stealer, I don't mind because the pitcher has to stop. He can't.
Yeah, thanks a lot. The catchers really appreciate that.
Right.
It's got to be good to play behind Danny, though. I mean, just like the intensity he had, they didn't like the call, and he got thrown out. That's a little too much in that early part of the game, but he really is a bulldog out there, and you got to want to play behind a guy like that.
Well, that's true. You can see it even at his stick, even on his offensive part of the game. He does everything well. He's a competitor, and you like people like that. He might be down 3 or 4 runs, but he's never going to give up, and I think that's how our team is, and it's good we have somebody on the mound to show that that's the way we are. That's the way we're going to play.
Barry, this has been an interesting trip out to San Francisco and then flying in here, and of course it's a successful trip because you win 4 and lose the 3. It could have even been better. I'm wondering what your thoughts are about how the team has played on this road trip.
Well, this is our first road trip, and I think everybody's pretty satisfied. We should have won a couple more games, but that's just the way that this game is. We beat San Francisco 2 out of 3, and it's always going to be a tough series when we play Houston. So I think everybody was pretty happy, and next time we face Houston, hopefully we'll be able to beat them in the series.
Well, it's back home tonight, and 4 with the Giants, huh?
Well, that's right. We're always going to be up from them. I think everybody in the league is, and this game is over with. We have to put this one in the past and look forward to tomorrow.
Well, maybe your family has you all moved in when you get back. Nice job again today, Barry, and a good series for you.
All right,
Barry Larkin, we thank him for being on with us, and of course the double and home run today, and a big 10-hit series, and that's not always easy to do in the Astrodome when they really face the 4 men of their rotation: the Darwin, Nepper, Ryan, and Scott. And so you come out of here with 2 for 2, and they played good, solid baseball. They saw a great Nolan Ryan today. What's new? He pitched well last year. He led the league in ERA, led the league in strikeouts, and he's really taken up where he left off last year. A good outing by Nolan Ryan.
There's one of Nolan Ryan's 9 strikeouts, and we saw an impressive performance, the kind of performance we've come to expect from Nolan Ryan. Also, in talking with Hal Lanier, he likes his ball club. It's going to be a very interesting race in the National League West, I think, with San Francisco, with this Houston club, and with the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, he also got a good performance from Dave Smith. That's what he expects. There's only his 2nd save, and both of them have been to Dave Smith, and he's got to rely on him to come in and do the job. He feels like he's going to get like his 7 innings out of his starters. Up to this point, that's what he's gotten anyway. So he's very happy with this ball club. He knows he can compete on the Western Division, and then when he wins a ball game like he did today, that's the vintage Astro way to do it.
Quick look at the Western Division standings for you, as this is the way it sets up right at the moment. Cincinnati a game and a half, headed home, and 4 against the Giants. Hope many of you will be able to get to Riverfront for that action, as it's a 2-2 situation in the 4-game set here in the Astrodome.
So the Reds 7-5 on this young season, and a lot of it has not been because of the offense. The middle part of the lineup, Cal Daniels, who had been hitting, has not. Eric Davis 3 for 5 yesterday, and of course Ryan has always given him problems, but no strikeouts for Eric today against Nolan. So maybe things are turning around. If we can get our offense going, I think we'll be fine. So for the Reds, there you see the final score. It's 5-3 Astros. For Jay Randolph, this is Johnny Bench saying so long, everybody. Today's game has been brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Toyota and your local Toyota dealer. There's quality, then there's Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more? And by Long John Silver, where we want to see you happy. And by Community Blue Cross and Blue Shield, because any blue won't do.